Hi friends, what can never be completely taken away from a human being? Viktor Frankl confronted this question under circumstances in which almost every ordinary form of freedom had disappeared. The Nazis could control his circumstances. They could control his movement. They could deprive him of possessions. They could humiliate his body. They could threaten his life. But Frankl came to believe that there remained a final territory of human freedom. The freedom to choose one's attitude toward what one was experiencing. This idea must be understood carefully. It does not mean that a prisoner was free in any ordinary sense. They were not, and it would be morally wrong to suggest that victims of oppression are responsible for what happened to them. Frankel's point was different. Even under extreme constraint, the human being may retain some capacity to determine how he or she will respond. That tiny inner space becomes enormously important because if some freedom remains there, then the human being has not been reduced entirely to a passive object of circumstance. There remains a possibility of response. There remains responsibility. There remains meaning. Meaning does not mean happiness. This is where Frankl differs from many popular ideas about happiness. We often ask, how can I become happy? Frankl asks a different question. What makes my life meaningful? These are not the same question. Happiness can come and go, success can come and go, pleasure can come and go, even circumstances can change dramatically. But meaning gives direction. It asks, why should I continue? Why should I take responsibility? Why should I get up tomorrow? Why does my life matter? Frankl therefore argued that the primary human motivation is not simply the pursuit of pleasure but the search for meaning. This became the foundation of his therapeutic approach, logotherapy, from the Greek logos, meaning. But what about suffering? Here we must be very careful. Frankl does not tell us to seek suffering. He does not say suffering is good. He does not say that people should simply accept injustice. And he certainly does not suggest that victims are responsible for the suffering inflicted upon them. His position is much more nuanced. When suffering can be removed, we should try to remove it. When injustice can be resisted, we should resist it. When a problem can be solved, we should solve it. But there are circumstances in which suffering cannot immediately be avoided. Then another question becomes possible. What attitude shall I take toward what I cannot change? And that is where meaning can become possible. After liberation, in 1945, Frankl was liberated. But liberation did not mean that his suffering suddenly ended. He returned to Vienna and learned the full extent of his losses. The people he had hoped to return to were gone. His first wife was dead. His parents were dead. His brother was dead. He had survived, But survival itself raised another question. What do I do with the life that remains? Frankl answered that question through work, through medicine, through teaching, through writing, through helping other human beings. His experience in the caves became the foundation of Maine's search for meaning, one of his most famous works. But another work deserves our attention. In 1946, only months after liberation, Frankl delivered a series of lectures in Vienna. They were later published as Yes to Life in Spite of Everything. Think about those words, not yes to life because everything is wonderful, not yes to life because suffering has disappeared, but yes to life in spite of everything. That phrase captures something essential in Frankl. Life does not have to be perfect before it becomes meaningful. We do not need certainty before we can say yes to life. We do not need the absence of suffering. We need a reason to continue answering life's questions. And perhaps this is Frankl's second great insight. Even when circumstances become almost completely uncontrollable, there may remain a small inner space in which we can respond. That space is not unlimited. It does not erase suffering. It does not make injustice acceptable. But it means that circumstance does not necessarily have the final word. And that leads to the next question. If life is not simply something that happens to us, then perhaps we should stop asking only, what do I want from life? Perhaps we should ask, what does life expect from me? We shall continue further. Thank you.